1. Introduction. My name is Barry. I am 71 years old. I live in an old, quiet house near the sea. My life here is very calm. Every day is almost the same. I wake up early, usually when the sun comes up. I make myself a cup of tea, a simple black tea without milk. Then I sit by the window and watch the sky change colors. After my tea, I walk slowly to the garden. The garden has many old trees and some flowers. I like to sit on a bench there for a little while. Sometimes I see a few birds flying or singing. After my time in the garden, I go inside to the big common room. Other people live in this house too, but they are often quiet. We sit together, but we do not talk much. I often feel a little lonely. I read books sometimes, or I just look out the window. The world outside seems far away, like a dream. I thought my life would continue like this, quiet and alone. I thought I would not feel strong feelings anymore. I believed love was something from my past, a long time ago. I thought my last years would be spent in silence, just waiting. But then, one morning, something new happened. It was a normal day, like any other day. The sun was shining and the air was cool. I was sitting in my usual chair, looking outside. Then, a new man came into the house. I had never seen him before. His name was Liam. He was 82 years old. He was older than me by 11 years. When I first saw him, I felt something different. He did not look like other people in the house. His steps were strong. He walked straight, not slowly. His eyes were very bright, like a young man's eyes, and he had a kind smile, a smile that seemed full of life. He looked strong and full of energy. It was like a warm wind came into the quiet room. My heart, which had been quiet for many, many years, started to feel something new. It felt a little excited. It was a new feeling, a good feeling. 2. Our first talk. I went to the garden one morning. I always liked to go there. It was a quiet place with many flowers. I liked to sit on a special bench under a big tree. But this morning, someone was already there. It was Liam. He was sitting on my bench. I felt a little surprised and maybe a little bit angry. That was my place. Then Liam looked at me. He had a kind smile. He said, "Good morning, Barry." His voice was deep and friendly. My small anger went away quickly. I was surprised that he knew my name. How did he know it? I asked him. He told me he asked a nurse. He said he saw me often. He wanted to know the name of the woman who always read books under the big tree. We started to talk. We talked about simple things. We talked about the sunny weather. We talked about the pretty flowers in the garden. We talked about the small birds singing in the trees. It was not a long talk, but it felt special. It felt like I was talking to someone I had known for a very long time. It was strange, but I felt a strong connection to him right away. Liam's voice was soft, even if it was deep. His eyes were bright. When he looked at me, I felt like I was the only person in the whole world. It was a nice feeling. I usually stayed in the garden for a short time, but that day I stayed much longer. The time passed quickly. I did not want to leave. When I finally went back inside the house, my face felt warm. My heart felt light. I felt happy, like a young girl. It was a feeling I had not known for many years. I thought about Liam's smile and his kind words. This first talk with Liam changed something inside me. It was a new feeling, full of hope. My quiet life was changing. I felt a new excitement. I was no longer just Barry, the lonely woman. I was Barry, the woman who had a first talk with Liam. And it made me feel very good. 3, our morning walks. Days passed, and a new routine began for Liam and me. Each morning, just after the sun came up, we would meet at the front door of the house. The air was fresh and cool then, and the garden was still wet with dew. We started our walks together, a quiet promise between us. It was a simple act, but it changed everything for me. Liam walked with a strong, quick step. He was 82 years old, but he moved like a much younger man. Sometimes I found it hard to keep up with him. My own steps were slower, more careful. He would look back at me, his eyes shining with fun, and give a happy laugh. Then he would slow his pace, matching his steps to mine. He always reached for my hand. His fingers were warm and firm. For many, many years, no one had held my hand like that. It was a simple touch, but it felt like a big, important thing. When he held my hand, a warm feeling spread through me, from my fingers all the way to my heart. It made me feel safe, like nothing bad could happen. The other people in the house would watch us from their windows or from the garden benches. Some of them whispered to each other, their heads close together. Some gave small, kind smiles. I could feel their eyes on us, but I did not care. Their thoughts did not matter to me. When I was with Liam, the world outside us seemed to disappear. It was just the two of us, walking together, with only the sound of our steps on the path. The trees, the sky, the other people, they all faded away. In those moments, I felt truly alive again. It was a feeling I had forgotten for a very long time. It was a feeling of youth and hope. Liam loved to tell stories. He had lived a long life, full of adventures. He told me about climbing tall mountains when he was a young man. He spoke of busy cities he had visited in far-off lands, and the many different people he had met along the way. His voice was deep and steady, and I listened with all my heart. Every story was a gift, opening up a world I had forgotten existed. Sometimes we did not talk at all. We just walked in comfortable silence, his hand holding mine. The quiet moments were just as special as the talking ones. They showed a deep understanding between us, a peace I had not known before. Each walk made me feel stronger, happier, and more connected to the world, but most of all, connected to him. I was no longer just Barry. I was Barry walking with Liam. 4. The bad words. One afternoon, I was in the dining room. It was after lunch. Many people were there, sitting and talking quietly. I heard 2 women talking near me. Their voices were low, like whispers, but I could still hear their words. They were talking about Liam. This made me listen more carefully. They said Liam was too strong for his age. They said he was 82 years old, but he moved like a much younger man. This was true. I had seen him walk fast. I had felt his strong hand. The women did not like this. They said it was not normal. They said maybe he was not an honest man. Maybe he was not who he said he was. They even said maybe he was dangerous. My heart became heavy when I heard these words. A bad feeling grew inside me. Could these things be true? Was Liam hiding something? I had started to feel so happy with him. I felt safe and alive. Now, these words made me worried. They put a dark cloud over my happy feelings. I thought about his kind smile, his warm hand, and the interesting stories he told me. It was hard to believe the bad words, but still the worry stayed in my mind. That evening, Liam sat with me just like always. The sun was going down, making long shadows in the room. I looked at him. He looked happy and peaceful. It was difficult to ask him, but I knew I had to. I spoke very softly. "Liam," I said, "why do people say strange things about you?" He looked at me for a long time. His eyes were calm and clear. Then he smiled a gentle smile. "Barry," he said, "people always talk. They talk when they see something they do not understand. They see me, an old man, and they think I should be weak. But I am not weak. I have always taken care of my body and my mind. I did not let the world make me slow. I walked in the mountains. I worked hard. I lived a full life. My strength is a gift, not a secret." I listened to his words. I looked into his eyes again. I saw truth there. I felt it in my heart. He was not lying. I believed him. My worry began to go away. The dark cloud lifted. I felt a new strength inside me, too. It was the strength of trust. Still, the whispers in the house did not stop. I heard them sometimes. People still looked at us with surprise or doubt, but it did not matter to me anymore. A small, important secret grew inside my heart. I did not care about the rumors. I did not care about what other people said. I cared only about Liam. I cared only about how he made me feel. He made me feel happy, alive, and loved. That was the only truth for me. 5. The party dance. The house was ready for a party. It was a special night. The large room where we usually sat was different. Soft lights hung from the ceiling. They made the room look warm and inviting. A young man came. He had a guitar. He started to play music. It was gentle music, not too loud. The air felt happy. Most of the people in the house sat in their chairs. They listened to the music. Some smiled a little. They tapped their feet. but no one danced. Not at first. Then Liam stood up. He walked across the room. My heart felt a little jump. He came to my chair. He smiled his bright smile. He held out his hand to me. "Barry," he said, his voice soft but clear, "will you dance with me?" My first thought was no. I felt very old. My legs were not strong. My body felt stiff. I thought, I am 71 years old. I cannot dance like a young person. I felt shy. What would people think? But Liam's hand was still there. It was strong and steady. His eyes looked at me. They said, "Come with me." I saw trust in his eyes. I saw kindness. I took a deep breath. Slowly, I put my hand in his. His fingers closed around mine. He pulled me gently from my chair. My legs felt a little shaky. We walked to the middle of the room. The music played. It was a slow song. We started to move, one step, then another. It was not a fast dance. It was a gentle sway. Liam held me close. I could feel the warmth of his hand. My heart began to beat faster. It was not from fear. It was from a new feeling, a happy feeling. As we moved, something strange happened. I forgot about my age. I forgot about the other people in the room. I forgot about my old house. I felt light. I felt young again, like a girl dancing for the first time. Liam smiled at me. His smile was full of joy. His eyes looked deep into mine. It felt like we were the only two people there. The music played only for us. The soft lights shone only on us. We moved together perfectly. My worries went away. My shyness disappeared. I was just Barry dancing with Liam. I heard some clapping. I heard some soft sounds of people smiling, but I did not look at them. My eyes stayed on Liam. His face was full of happiness. He held my hand tightly. We danced until the music stopped. When it ended, I felt warm. My face was red, but not from shame. It was from happiness. This dance was a gift. It showed me that even at 71, I could feel young. I could feel free. I could feel happy. And most important, I could feel loved. Liam had given me this feeling. He had given me the dance. He had given me back a part of myself I thought was gone forever. It was a night I would never forget. 6, when he was sick. One morning, Liam did not come for our usual walk. I waited by the garden door, looking out, but he did not appear. My heart felt a cold fear. This was not like him. He was always there, ready to walk with me. I waited for 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, but still nothing. I felt a knot in my stomach. I went to find a nurse. "Where is Liam?" I asked her. She looked at me sadly. "He is not well, Barry. He has a fever and is in his room." My fear grew bigger. I went straight to his room. When I walked in, I saw him in his bed. He looked very weak. His eyes were closed and his face was pale. His strong hands, which always held mine so firmly, lay still on the bed cover. He looked so different from the lively man I knew. My heart felt a deep ache. I sat on the chair beside his bed. I took his hand gently. It felt warm from the fever. For many days, I stayed by his side. I did not want to leave him. I sat there, holding his hand, sometimes just watching him breathe. I brought him fresh water when he woke up. I put a cool, wet cloth on his forehead to help with the fever. Sometimes I spoke softly to him, telling him stories about the garden or about my day. Even when he could not answer, I felt he could hear me. I read a book quietly just to be there. The house felt different during those days. The music of our walks was gone. The bright light of his smile was not there. I was so afraid. I had found happiness with Liam, a happiness I thought I would never have again. The thought of losing him, of going back to my lonely days, made my eyes fill with tears. I prayed for him to get better. I wanted him to be strong again. Slowly, very slowly, Liam started to get better. One day, his eyes opened fully and looked at me. He gave a weak smile. The next day, he ate a little food. His color began to return. Each small step of his recovery was a big joy for me. His strength came back, little by little. Soon, he could sit up in bed. Then, he could walk a few steps in his room. When he was well enough to walk with me in the garden again, he looked at me with his bright eyes. "Barry," he said, his voice still a little soft, "you stayed with me when I was sick. You gave me a reason to fight the illness. You were my strength." My eyes became wet again, but this time with happiness. For many years, I had felt like nobody needed me. But Liam needed me. He truly needed me. 7, he said, "I love you." One evening, Barry and Liam sat together. They were outside, near the sea. The sun was going down, painting the sky with beautiful colors. The sky was red, then orange, and then gold. The water of the sea looked bright under the sun's last light. It was a very peaceful time. Barry felt happy just to sit beside Liam. She liked the quiet moments they shared. She often thought about how much her life had changed since he came. Liam turned his head and looked at Barry. He smiled a soft smile. Then he gently took her hand. His hand felt warm and strong around hers. Barry looked at him, wondering what he would say. His eyes looked at her with a deep, kind feeling. Then Liam spoke. His voice was calm. "Barry," he began, "I thought I was too old to feel this way again. I thought love was not for me anymore. But you came into my life. You have given me new life. You have made me feel young inside again. I know now that I was wrong. Barry, I love you." Barry's heart almost stopped. She felt a sudden, strong surprise. She had not expected to hear those words. Not now, not at her age. For many, many years, she had not heard anyone say, "I love you" to her. Her eyes quickly filled with tears. They were tears of great joy, not sadness. She looked at Liam, and her own feelings were so big inside her. She squeezed his hand softly. Her voice was a whisper, full of emotion. "I love you too, Liam," she said. The words felt true and strong as she spoke them. It was a moment she would never forget. They did not speak for a long time after that. They just sat there, holding hands. They watched the last light of the sun disappear from the sky. The sky slowly became dark blue, then black. Stars began to appear one by one. The world around them seemed to fade away. The house, the other people, the small sounds of the evening, none of it mattered. The whispers she had heard about Liam, the worries she sometimes felt, her own age, his age, all these things seemed to vanish into the quiet evening air. There was only Barry and Liam. There was only their hands holding tight. There was only the feeling of love between them. It was a beautiful and very special moment for both of them. They were simply together, two people sharing a new, deep love at the end of a long day, at the end of their lives. It was a precious gift. Barry knew then that her life was full of new happiness. 8, together in the world. Time passed quickly, but with Liam, every day felt like a special gift. Our life together was full of quiet happiness. We still walked together every morning, holding hands, just like before. We talked about many things, big and small, or sometimes we just sat in silence, enjoying being close. We often laughed, and these moments were always peaceful. Liam's presence made every day brighter. The other people in the elderly house now saw us differently. In the beginning, some people had whispered about us, but now their eyes held understanding and kindness. They saw the strong love that grew between Liam and me. They showed us respect, and we felt accepted by everyone around us. It was a good feeling to be seen and understood. We were no longer just two old people. We were a couple, sharing a special bond. One sunny morning, we sat together under the big tree in the garden. The air was fresh, the birds sang sweet songs, and a soft wind moved the leaves. Liam looked at me with his kind, warm eyes. He held my hand gently, and his touch was comforting. He said something that stayed with me. "Barry," he began, his voice soft, "when I am with you, I truly feel like we are the only two people left in the whole world, just you and me. We are all alone, yes, but we are perfectly together." His words made my heart feel very full and happy. For many, many years, I had felt so lonely in the big house. My days were always the same, quiet and without much joy. I truly thought that love was not for me anymore. I believed I would spend my last years completely by myself, waiting for the end. But Liam changed everything for me. He brought so much joy, warmth, and meaning back into my life, like a new spring. I smiled at him, feeling a deep sense of peace. I was no longer lonely, not even for a moment. I had found a true and beautiful love, a gift I never expected. It happened at the very end of my long life when I thought all such things were past. This love was real. It was warm. It was alive. Because of Liam, I was not afraid of getting older anymore. I was not afraid of time passing. I knew that in this big, wide world, I was truly not alone. I was with him. We were together, and that was everything I needed.